Hey guys, so we are going to be designing Blastoise today. I'm going to be doing something a little different. I haven't designed Blastoise, so this will be my first time designing Blastoise. So I'm going to walk you through kind of the design process. And the way I do is I always start with a photo of the thing I'm making. I also have a Google image search of Blastoise. And so I have some reference photos that I'm going to be using and kind of referring back to. I'm going to open up the images in different tabs. I'm gonna refer. So I got the front, the back, and everything. So I start with the foot. I'm gonna do, as always, 1 foot at a time. Now he does have one, two, three, 4 claws. So there's three in the front and then one in the back. I'm gonna use a paraboloid. I'm gonna rotate this forward and move this, to front. Size it down appropriately, and of course, I'm adding right there. Gonna hit Control C, Control V. Gonna rotate the toe. Also going to do the other claw. Again, rotating that. Now for the back claw, I'm going to Control C, Control V. I can't see it, so I'm just gonna move on my keyboard, the arrow key. Gonna flip it using the mirror. There we go. Now we have his foot. Let's do his thigh. Again, I haven't designed Blastoise, so I'm going to be kind of experimenting here and there, but using the same design principles that I teach in my classes, I should be able to be accurate. Now he is going to be standing back, and he does have some joints, so adding that in, and maybe rotating it this way. Okay, so that's gonna be one leg. I want to make sure that the thigh is slightly bigger than the ankle because in the picture it is. And so then I'm going to go ahead and group all that together. Let's hit multicolor so we keep the same color. Let's copy paste that, flip it over to the other side. This way I have both legs, just like that. Okay, let's do the body. I'm going to now he has like a lot of these ridges here, so maybe we can. Again, I'm here to experiment, but I'll walk you guys through my kind of thought process. And so I'm going to stretch that out. Check the position. Yeah, he's actually kind of low to the ground. So let's actually add that right there. Maybe stretch it out a little bit. We have to stretch that back. There we go. I think that's the look I'm kind of going for. Then let's duplicate, move it up like so. Okay, maybe stretch that out. Let's duplicate and repeat. Duplicate and repeat. I think I kind of like that. Let me count how many. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me space this out a little bit more evenly. So I'm going to shift click, move this up. I'm going to stretch that. I'm also going to, let's see if we can do both at the same time. Stretch that. I think that's kind of the look I want. A little bit uneven, but if I make this, maybe make this part a little taller here. I think that's the look I'm going for. I also noticed that in so many photos, you can really see him kind of lean forward. So let's try to fix that. So I'm going to group all that together. Let's kind of rotate this forward. All right, gotta click on it, zoom in a little bit more. Let's rotate about 22 looks good. Move this down, move this forward. Again, he is pretty low to the ground. Awesome. Now, I think for his back, I was gonna use a sphere, but I think let's try an egg. I like the shape of an egg better sometimes. Let's rotate that. Let's not rotate that yet. Let's stretch it out. Let's make this a little bit bigger, a little bit. Let's see. We kind of get the proportions. I'll change this to brown because that's the color. Let's rotate this forward. I'm gonna go ahead and make the adjustments here. It's too much, then I'll go ahead and make some different adjustments here and there. Can even adjust this as well. And so I want these kind of overlapping each other. If I need to move the leg to cover up some of the clipping, then I will. I'll kind of shift that back. Okay. Awesome. Now, I'm not too concerned about where they're touching because we have this white around where the brown and yellow parts are connected. Forget what that is called on an actual turtle, but let's try a sphere. I'll make that white. Yeah, that like oh man, gotta look it up later after I'm done here. Yep. But yeah, I forget exactly what that thing is called. But anyway, where those two things kind of meet. The top half of the shell and the bottom half of the shell. It's a little white stuff right there. There we go. I think that kind of matches the look. I'm not going for an exact match, but I do want it kind of close to it. Now I'm going to. So I like the look so far. I think it looks pretty good. I think that I'm gonna make a small adjustment here and there. Maybe too much to that side. Maybe if I move the leg out and then yeah, let's make some adjustments here. So this is gonna be yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty close to our Blastoise. Let's go and check. Pretty close. Again, it's not going to be exact, and that's totally okay. Let's do his tail. Now, you have a choice of a tail. You can either use a half sphere, or you can use a paraboloid. Now, the paraboloid is a little bit more pointy, and the half sphere is a little bit rounded at the top. But let's try the half sphere. Let's look at the tail. Yeah, maybe a paraboloid actually. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to let's try both and see which one I like more. So I'm going to rotate this. It's one tail. I'm also going to rotate this. It's also one tail. Maybe the half sphere actually. Let's use paraboloid. I think paraboloid is closer to his look that I want. I'm also going to position it. Let's see. It's about right under where the two halves met the top and bottom half meet. So about right there. It's a pretty good tail. Awesome. That looks centered to me as well. I'm also noticing one of his toes didn't match up, which not great, especially if you want this 3D printed. So I'm going to fix that, which means that on this side, all of his nails are not touching. Maybe we'll fix that later. All right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot the group. Okay. Good. Okay, good. Oh wait, no, I didn't forget the group. I just ungrouped everything. That's what I did. Haha. It's okay. I make the mistakes so that you guys don't have to. But hopefully you guys are following along. So I'm making just like some minor adjustments here and there. Okay. So let's do his cannons. I want to do his cannons. So I'm going to bring in a polygon. Okay. Now if you guys don't know what a polygon is, It's basically any shape with sides, and so you can change the sides to triangle to hexagon. So it's definitely going to be a hexagon. Now let's make it brown. Okay, and then maybe a little bit shorter. Let's bring in one of these cylinders. Okay, uh, actually control. Let's undo that. Now if I hold Shift and make this a little bit smaller, it's going to proportionally make it smaller. And then let's line this up. Now I think I want to do it to 12. If it's an even number, it should be easier to center into. I think that's right. Okay. Yeah, that looks right. Let's add a little bit of bevels. So I'm going to turn this slider because if you look at his cannon, it's kind of beveled here. Let's do silver. Okay. Then I'm going to duplicate and repeat. Let's move this up. I'm going to do the same thing. Hold Shift and make that a little bit smaller. Bring that to the center. Gonna duplicate that. And let's actually I don't want to duplicate that. Let's delete. Let's duplicate the bottom. Make our life a little easier. Okay, because it gets bigger again. Okay. Kind of like that look. Let me check. Yeah, kind of like that bevel look. I think it goes well with the Blastoise. And then let's duplicate. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, maybe we can take out the bevels because we're going to turn this into a hole. Alright, again holding Shift, let's center that into the center. Then we'll go ahead and group everything. We'll hit multicolor to get our colors back. Now, let's see, there's some black. Maybe let's add a little bit of black in there. So let's ungroup. I'm going to duplicate that. Let's bring this up and then make this really kind of shorter right there. Let's turn this black. Maybe let's bring that in a little bit and see how I like that look. I think it looks pretty good. Awesome. Okay, so then let's go ahead and group all those shapes together. Hit multicolor. I think that looks good. And then it might not be the right size, it might be, but I'm going to go ahead and put that onto his shell. I don't know, I really like building things horizontally before I place them. I'm going to bring that down. Okay. Then let's see, kind of make some final adjustments here and there. Let's bring this in a little bit. It's going to change the size, but it's okay. Let's also try to rotate it this way. And bring it down. Maybe we can rotate it like that. I think that's going to give us the look that I want. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. Then let's go ahead and mirror it to this side. So now we have two cannons. Let's work on the head. So for the head's going to be a little complicated because he has like his chin is different, and then his face looks like it has this ridge. So it's not going to be a simple sphere, but we are going to use spheres. I think if I bring up this head like this, I'm going to make this. Let's do the back part of his head. Kind of bring it like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think that's about where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that one. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this kind of forward and maybe down some more. Let's do the chin. So I think I did this color. Okay, let's bring this up a little bit. Okay, maybe even let's bring this down because his head is pretty. He doesn't really have a neck. I mean, turtles have a neck. You just can't see it. But I think Blastoise has much of a neck. And then let's duplicate the sphere again. We're going to make this part smaller. We'll see that we get And we get most of his face just like that. Okay. I think that looks pretty close to our Blastoise. So you can kind of see that. Okay, now let's do his eyes. It's gonna, let's see, kind of a round eyes. Let's see if I have some other photos. I think, okay. Let's try wedge. I like wedge. It's gonna rotate that 90 degrees. Again, you can choose different eyes. Rotate the wrong way. Let's see, let's flip that. Okay, now we're doing one, so same kind of concept. We are gonna do one eye at a time. I'll make that a little bit smaller, way smaller. Not that big. Alright. I think if I rotate like that, that's gonna look a lot, that's gonna look a lot better, I think. Let's undo that for the moment being though, because I think I want to get some of that brown and black in the eye as well. So let's bring in our cylinder. Looks kind of round to me. 90 degrees, okay. So rotate it 90 degrees. Let's make this, and you'll see what I'm doing in just a moment, but basically I'm going to be building the brown part and then the black part of his eye, and then kind of grouping everything together. Okay, and so like that. And I'm gonna do, was it brown and black? It was brown. Okay, then let's duplicate it. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Gonna do black. You can bring this in, but the important thing is not the length of it, it's just that it needs to be touching the blue area, and you'll see why in just a second what I'm doing. Okay, it's hard to explain. Much, oh no, much easier to show. Yeah, right there. That looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's group all those shapes together. Let's make it multicolor. I'm gonna rotate it as well. Let's see. I think that's gonna give me the look I want. It's hard to tell right now until I'm done with it. Now I'm gonna hold shift and click onto his head. I'm gonna group those shapes together. I'm gonna hit multicolor. Gonna duplicate his head. Oh, I forgot his eye, which is fine. We can do that right now. Let's duplicate the eye. I'm gonna flip it using our mirror function. And I want to make sure that they are mostly symmetrical. Okay, then let's turn this into a hole because you know what? Before we do that, let's do his nostrils. I think he could really benefit from some nostrils here. Let's see. Do I want to create that like ridge? I think that's too much detail then than we actually need. Let's see. Let's look at that. That's way too big. Let's make that much smaller. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, I changed my mind again. We're not going to do the nostrils because I want to cut his face. But okay, so before we do that, let's also group. Okay, let's group everything else down here. I'm going to group all that together. Hit multicolor. Then let's also group that together. I want to hide his body. See this button over here is hide. And you'll see what I'm doing in just a second. Okay, so his eyes are sticking out, and I don't like that. And I want to cut his eyes back. So I created a duplicate of his head earlier. You saw that. So then I'm going to put a box over the head hole. I'm going to group it. It's important to group it before I make it a hole again, okay? So I'm going to group, then I'm going to make it a hole, okay? Very important to follow the steps exactly. And then I'm going to move. Now I have a cavity of his head inside of this box. I'm going to move this box over the head. And, okay, sometimes this like trick doesn't work exactly because the the brown parts and the black parts don't like to show up, and it's a weird glitch, but I think it's gonna work, and it does. Kind of looks angry. Let's see where his eyes at. Okay, looks a little. Okay, maybe I need to center his eyes. His eyes are too far apart. Okay, so let's ungroup. Let's ungroup that eye. I think his eye would benefit a lot from being about right here. Okay, just like that. Yeah, I think that's gonna really benefit a lot. Let me group all that multicolor. Let's delete that because I am lazy and it's way easier just to, instead of trying to match what I did, it's just easier to duplicate and mirror. Let's cut the head again. That was perfect. I'm going to very carefully put everything over his head. I'm going to group. Let's see. It kind of worked. You can always fix it later, but you can kind of see whatever was touching left a mark there. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's show. Looks pretty good. Let's add his. I think he can honestly use some nostrils. So we'll move the black sphere, and then we're only gonna have part of it show. Copy paste that over. We'll move this. I'm moving with the arrow keys on my keyboard since I can't see it. Then we'll try our best to match. I think that looks pretty good. Let's get his ears on, and then we'll do his arms next. Alright, let's get the ears. So I'm going to use my favorite, which is a paraboloid. It wasn't always my favorite. I had a lot of classes where we worked on. Now the ears are pretty small. Again, I'm always going to build one at a time. I think the end part was black. It is black. So let's make that black. Let's kind of push that together. We'll make this a little bit smaller. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to hit Control C, Control V. Let's go ahead and mirror this over. I think his ears are too tall. I think they're very. No. I forgot to group. Of course, always group your stuff. And then multicolor to keep the color. There we go. That's starting to look like Blastoise. Alright, he's missing arms. He needs arms really badly. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then he has 3 little claws. Let's do that. I think spheres are gonna look really good. So let's, as always, build. Let's build right here, and then I think that's gonna look. Wow, that is perfect. Sometimes you just get lucky, and you don't need to do much. And of course, let's create claws, so 90 degrees. Let's check them out again. Okay, I think it's gonna be something like like this. Okay. Then of course, we have an arm. I'm going to group that together. Going to hit multicolor. Let's move this up. And then he's starting to look like Blastoise. Let's duplicate his arm. I'm going to move it to the other side. I'm going to mirror it because it's way easier than to build another arm. And they're basically done. If I wanted to create this like pattern on his back, the way I would do it would be to take a polygon. I'm going to roll that polygon just ever so slightly. And then we'll duplicate that. We'll take the duplicate and make it a little bit smaller. Put that into the center. Okay. Going to make that a hole. Okay. I'm going to align these, so I'm going to use the align tool by pushing these little black dots. I'm going to group that together. All right. Let's turn this into a hole, and then let's rotate that. Maybe a little. That's about right. Let's try. Okay, I think that's too much. I don't think the pattern is worth it, but that's how I would do the pattern. I think it's a little bit challenging because I didn't follow my own advice, which was to build it on the ground first, but I kind of want that about right there. You can also, I think that's too big. Let's see, it's really actually kind of smaller, you know, it's okay. But if I were to move this like so, kind of scrunching it up, because it is a hexagon. Okay, and then let's see how far deep it is. Oh wow, that's kind of deep. Too deep. Let's try rotating. Let's see if we can get a little bit better. I think that would... Let's try it out. See if I like it. That's alright. It's alright. And then of course, if you wanted to have some bonus points, do the same thing with boxes, but I personally don't think it's necessary. I think most of my action shots are going to be from this end. And he looks really good. So I think that's going to call it for this lesson. Definitely check out my other lessons. And of course, I have live in-person meetings on Zoom. Go ahead and check out activity here on the description below. See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.